I took a little risk posting this video. It's not just art today. Think cozy fall vibes, baking, cooking, a bit of homemaking, and later on, I dive into learning collage for the first time. Let's get into it. We are stepping into fall and we're going to spend it together. It is the first crisp, almost chilly morning. I've got my Patagonia back out, so I put this on. It feels like just yesterday I put this away in the closet, but here we are again. Although it's supposed to warm up, so I don't think I'll be in this warmer sweater all day. This is going to be a cozy fall video where we do lots of relaxing things. All right, I'm going to put on some makeup and we'll get the day started together. Fall here for me is basically from September to the end of October. We don't get really fall weather in November, so I'm trying to really enjoy it now, because what happens typically is very quickly the weather changes from pretty warm mixed with cooler days, mixed with sometimes chilly days in October. Halloween is often quite cold for us here, and the kids sadly often have to wear like a big quilted wintry coat on top of their Halloween costume, thus ruining their Halloween costume. Like, I do remember being a kid and having like a princess costume my mom had sewn for me on the sewing machine, and then having to wear a big winter coat on top of it. So it can be a bit of a disappointment. And then sometimes, we get wild weather and it's really quite nice and warm, but that's pretty rare. And then right around then, like November 1st, here in Toronto, it snaps to winter, very, very quickly at that point. So we get a pretty limited amount of proper fall weather. One thing we do get is the beautiful fall colors. They started early this year. We had so many beautiful red leaves, just so rich and lush looking. I haven't seen too much orange yet. It's mostly been red so far. And overall, though, the trees are kind of crispy. I think some of them may fall, leaves may fall before they even turn color, because very dehydrated over the summer, because we had a bit of I'm not going to call it a drought, but we didn't have much rain in the last half of the summer. So I've yet to see what the full autumn leaves are going to look like, but I am already enjoying the reds and that little bit of the orange that's starting to peek through. It's quite chilly inside of the house right now. I actually have on my felt indoor slippers. I don't think I'll have these on all day though. I'm not sure how well you're able to see them. These are better felt slippers, and they're just so cozy and comfy for this time of year, but it's actually supposed to warm up significantly. So we're having that thing where it's quite cold and chilly at night, and then because it's sunny and bright and clear, it warms up a lot. I don't think I'll be in any of this later on, but right now it's absolutely perfect. I don't have the heat on yet inside of the house either, which has been nice, but we're definitely coming to that point of the year. I can not usually get through, I won't get through October without putting the heat on. It definitely goes on. And often, sometimes, even in mid-September, it has to go on. My family though, my husband's family are from Ireland, and we've been there in August and have had the heat on though. So I guess we're lucky not to have to do that over the summer, despite being so north here in Canada. They also have a higher tolerance for indoor cold than we do. So that's always interesting when I visit. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so chilly in here. And they're like, you're from Canada. What's going on? I've gone down to the basement where I store my baking tins, which gives you an idea of how often I use them, which is not super often. Although sometimes I go through a bit of, a phase of baking a lot. That hasn't been over the summer though. I think you can probably imagine why. We had a terrible heat wave and I just was not feeling it. So I've got this bun pan out because I think I might even try and make a second dessert today. Sometimes it's easier once you've busted everything out and you've already got the spatulas all messy and stuff, just to make a second easy thing. But yeah, I think the bun pan will be for the chocolate cake, just a quick boxed mix, nothing too fancy. But the other thing I really wanted to make, because it is apple season, is my favorite cinnamon apple cake using these beautiful apples that are organic and local. I might not even use all of them. This is such an amazing recipe. I'll leave it for you down below, but it is by Jessica Holmes from the website sweetestmenu.com, and it's just called cinnamon apple cake. It is a yogurt and oil based recipe, so no butter. So if you don't have a lot of butter, it's perfect. But if you do have yogurt, you're in good shape. And you just even need like 1 apple for it, but I'm gonna put more than 1 apple because these are, I don't know if you can see how small this is, tiny. This is the best apple cake ever. It is a bit laborious though, because there are quite a few steps. But anyway, I'm gonna get to it and whip this up and get it in the oven. So I've got my favorite mixing bowls here. These are vintage from Crate and Barrel. One of the first things I think I bought when Crate and Barrel finally came to Canada, or actually maybe I was in Boston. I brought them home with me back when you could have a lot of luggage. And into this, I just put the flour in so far, baking powder, baking soda, so it calls for both. And my trick for baking soda always is to sift it. I don't always sift my flour, especially if it's fresh, but I will always sift my baking soda because it has a tendency to ball up in these like little clumps, right? I'm not sure if you're seeing that. You'll have to trust me. A little rock comes out of it, and there's nothing that tastes more gross than biting into a rock of baking soda in a baked good. It just leaves this terribly bitter, sour, awful flavor. So I avoid doing that at all costs, which means I've got to sift those little things. And then I just have to add in some sugar here. And of course I forgot to take my eggs out ahead of time and let them come to room temperature. So I'll just run those under a bit of warm water to bring them up, or to take a little of the chill off of them. I do have the 1 cup of apple that you're supposed to peel. You don't have to peel it, but it is not super pleasant because the apple becomes very tender and then the peel is a bit peely, right? But you could. These smell heavenly. What a beautiful scent. And I don't even like apples that much. I don't like apple scented things that much. But if you do, oh my gosh, you'd be in heaven right now. It smells so good. So I didn't put the sugar in. Let's do that. 3/4 of a cup of sugar. I'm not a perfect baker. I know that it's like strange even for people in the UK to see us using cup measurements because I know you guys weigh with a scale. I don't know, this is just the way we do it. What I like is that it just has this chill energy to use these cups. It feels very relaxed and instinctive. What I also like about using cups, also probably because it's the only thing I've ever known, is that, I don't know, you just feel more in touch with the ingredients somehow. I don't understand. It feels more like play, I guess. Whereas I feel like when I use the scale, it feels more like science, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, baking technically is science. I'm just saying, I don't know. There's something about just using the cup measurements that I find quite fun and relaxing. Okay, so what you do then with the apple, as I recall, because I haven't made this recipe in a good half of a year, is that you mix up all your dry ingredients here. And then let's make sure that I'm just gonna run through these: flour, powder, soda, sugar. Yes, okay, so now at this point you just drop these in. Just move this over here for now. So you drop them in, and this will prevent them from browning when you're doing your other steps as well. And it coats the apple as well. Like when the apple is coated in a bit of flour, it will suspend better in the batter. It won't all just fall to the bottom. So I'll just lightly toss these in here. I'll move on to my wet ingredients. I lied though, there is a bit of butter in this recipe. There's no butter in the batter, but you make this really amazing butter cinnamon topping. You only need like a tablespoon of butter for that part though. But that's why there's kind of a lot of steps in this recipe. So let me get to the wet stuff, and that is what we have so far. So to a bit of melted butter, and my secret for melting butter is I use the microwave, but not just that, I like to melt it in a mug, just because it's always easy to touch things that have been in a mug because they're made for heat, rather than trying to put it in like a little bowl or something like that. That can be hard to handle when it's been in the microwave. So to this, you're supposed to add 1/4 cup, and I'm eyeballing it. Like I said, I've been working with cups for so long, I'm pretty good at just knowing how much is a 1/4 cup. Again, back to play and not science so much. I don't know, maybe I shouldn't be admitting that about myself. Then I'm gonna add in a teaspoon of cinnamon. I will just pop the top off of this to get at 1 teaspoon, because if I shake it, I'll be here all day. No, it's not 1 teaspoon, is it? It is, it's 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. I'm gonna go a little under that. What ends up happening with this butter, sugar, cinnamon mix is it makes a beautiful, almost like sand. So you mix it, and it's got this kind of really cool sand texture. So you just start mixing it up with your tiny teaspoon or whatever you have at hand. And it makes this like this brown concoction that literally, it looks like wet sand. It looks like playground sand. So you set this aside, mix everything up. And this step is the thing I think that kind of, for me, is what prevents me making this recipe as much as I might like, just because there's just a lot of different little steps. It uses a lot of cups and stuff like that. And I don't know. I always say I don't love to cook and bake really, but I love to eat homemade cooked and baked things. So until I end up with a private chef, or if my son maybe takes an interest in baking and cooking, which he hasn't so far, so I don't think that's going to happen. I'm kind of on my own because my husband is not really into it either. I wish he were though. But we've been married, you know, almost 20 years now. So if he hasn't taken an interest yet, I don't think he will. He will help though. It's not that he won't help. He just doesn't have a lot of initiative to do these things. Okay, so I'm stirring up the wet and the dry now. Let me get a different view for you guys. So we've got the wet and the dry, and you don't over mix. You just go around like this until everything looks moistened. It's a little bit almost like a clafouti type thicker batter, but it's not quite that either. So I'm just gently turning these over, just checking that there's no dry spots. And yeah, of course, there's always one waiting for me at the bottom. And now what you do with this very thick batter is you scoop it according to the recipe. You don't really pour it, you more scoop it into your prepared tin. I've also made this in a Pyrex dish. My Pyrex dishes are not clean though, so that's why I pulled up this baking tin. And then you scoop it in. Am I gonna do that though? I think I'm just gonna use this heavy duty spatula. I will just dot this in. I find if you put them on the edges, and I like to go up a little bit with my parchment paper, partially for this reason. I find if I put to the edges first, then I can smooth it back toward the center or fill it in as needed. So yeah, this is the technique they want you to use. They don't want you to pour it into the center and try and even it out. This is also the one that I found works best as well. So now I can kind of go back in and see where I've missed. There we are. There's different ways you can chop up the apple. I like to do it quite finely, you know, not tiny, but I think they say like 1-inch cubes, but I like to go even smaller than that because I like to have more smaller, tenderer pieces of apple dispersed. And this will puff up because it's got 2 eggs in it and only 1.5 cups of flour. 1.5 cups is 210 grams of flour, because I know some of you are in Europe. And I'll just gently kind of zhuzh it. It's going to puff up though, and it will fill out better. But it is meant to be a bit more of a rustic looking apple cake. There's nothing chefy, nothing fancy. Ah, it smells so good. It smells so good, but I'm also smelling the cinnamon, in fairness. So try not to fuss with it too much, which is kind of my way. Get this out of the way. Then with my cinnamon sand butter sugar mixture, you just go all over this top here. And you know, I guess you could skip this, but this really makes it though. This cinnamon butter mixture, I don't know. I don't think it would be any good without this. If you have any thick clumps like this, sometimes they sink to the bottom. So I've got a little technique for that. You might like it sinking to the bottom though. It makes it have these interesting crevices, but maybe that's not your vibe. In that case, you don't want like a clump sinking to the bottom. Make sure you get every last little bit of this. In fact, I might get my teeny spatula. If you don't have teeny spatulas, they're so worth getting. Little ones like this, they really can save you the aggravation of trying to get out these little last bits, especially when you're baking. And they have other great uses too. So because I don't want a big clump like this going straight down to the bottom, because it's heavier than the batter, I'll just kind of smush them a little bit. Again, nothing too fancy, easy, relaxed. You need a bit of time though. This is not like a quick recipe. I know I keep saying that, sorry. I'll stop complaining about that because you know what? It's so worth it. It's so worth it because this is the best apple cake recipe. You only need 1 apple. You don't need a ton of butter. And sometimes that's all you have in the fridge, in the pantry. You might have some yogurt. You definitely will have oil, you know. You want just like a neutral cooking oil. I used olive oil, like a light flavored olive oil. You wouldn't want to use your good quality olive oil for this, but if you have just one that's for cooking, perfect. So there we are, ready to go in the oven, where it will bake for 35 minutes. So now with 1 cake in the oven, I'm going to put on my outside shoes and pop outside because I would normally go for a walk right now, but because I have something in the oven, I'm not going to do that. I will, however, see what the weather is like out here. Oh, so nice. What a perfect day. But if you look around, I mean, I don't know how well you're going to see. It's not turned yet. It's quite green. It would be a great day for a hike or to go apple picking, none of which I'm doing. I'm kind of a little bit at home, but that's okay. That means we'll just be nice and cozy. And I got to pop inside because got to check on the cake pretty soon and then maybe get going on the other one. I used to think summer was my favorite season, but I think now I may have to change my opinion. I may have to say it is fall. I hear chipmunks. I hear not so many birds. They're migrating now. This is like peak migration season, so they're leaving. They're leaving Toronto and they're going south to be nice and warm and get more food before the snow starts to fall, which is not yet. That's not going to happen for a while. Fingers crossed. But look at this glorious, beautiful morning light. There's nothing like it. I think I've mentioned this before, but if you ever do want to visit, September, early October, the best months in Toronto. The best by far. The weather is still lovely, warm. There aren't that many crowds because, kids are back in school. I think it's ideal. The only way it could be better, in my mind, is if we had a bit of a longer season like this because, like I said, it'll end pretty abruptly. But I know in some other places they get more of an extended autumn, and that's so nice. I really wish our autumn would go straight into like American Thanksgiving, which it doesn't. It's very cold here by then. It's wintry by then. But I'm just going to make the most out of these gorgeous, temperate autumn days. If you could only smell it in here. I wish we had scent vision. It smells phenomenal. It is the smell of cinnamon, of apples, of just like delicious baked goods. Probably what baking an apple pie would smell like if I baked apple pie. I'm not a pie person, really. I that's a step too far for me. I guess because I just don't enjoy pie that much, although I do like a nice slice once in a while. So I guess the downside of doing all this baking, and sorry to seem like I'm complaining about it, but now I've got to load up this dishwasher, and let me tell you something about me. I will put anything and everything in the dishwasher. I don't hand wash anything. I am not someone who puts the pots into the sink and scrubs them. No, goes into the dishwasher. With some exceptions. I have some nice Le Creuset enamel ware, and that doesn't go in, but pretty much everything else, if I can put it in there, I will put it in there. Here's the thing. It does a better job than I do anyway. I think some of us like to believe like, oh, hand washing saves water. Hand washing makes it cleaner, and it doesn't do any of those things, to my mind anyway. But if I'm completely honest, what it really is I just don't want to do it by hand. So that's my excuse to put everything in the dishwasher. But what I have found, I have a Bosch. What I have found about this Bosch is that I just use the 1 hour setting. And I'm going to say, I use the 1 hour setting. I use Kirkland brand dish tabs from Costco. It comes out clean. Rarely do I have to put anything back in. My water's not particularly hot. It's not particularly good, water with like a soft water profile or anything like that. But my goodness, it is like magic. Things come out really clean. So because it's only in there an hour, it doesn't use that much energy. So I can feel good about literally putting everything in there because it's just more efficient than if I did it by hand, even the pots. And I stuffed this dishwasher. Oh my gosh, we're getting so close to that cake being finished, but I'm not even gonna eat it till tonight, or maybe I'll sneak a piece, we'll see. Okay, the cake is supposed to be ready, so let's go grab it. I'm doing a lot of baking lately in a small oven that I have, not the big one. It's actually surprisingly good. So I don't have to fire up the entire oven, the entire big oven to bake. Here it is. I didn't give you guys a good view, I'm sorry. Let's do it. This is what it looks like when it's done. Golden, fragrant, lovely cinnamon swirls on the top. It's making a bit of that slightly bubbling sound baked goods make. The toothpick slid in clean. Let's double check the center. With this one, you want to check it in a couple spots, not just one. All clean. So that is thumbs up, done. Now I'm just going to quickly decant my second batter while the oven is still good and hot. This is frankly a chocolate cake mix, like a Duncan Hines or whatever. Actually, let me find out what it was. No, I took the recycling out, so I actually don't remember what the box is. It's Duncan Hines or the other one, Betty Crocker. It's one of the two. And that's because I don't love chocolate, but everybody else does. So I'll make this cake and just knock out two for one. And then whatever we don't eat today, we will freeze. And so I greased up this bundt pan really, really well. And I'm just gonna put this in here and hopefully it comes out, because that is always the struggle with these beautiful bundt pans, right? They're so fun, they're cool, but my goodness, sometimes they have too many crevices and it's so hard to get your cake out in one piece after. Okay, I need to put this down. Oh, that's quite the workout. Okay. Usually my kid will come and twist the bowl, hold the bowl or twist the bundt pan underneath for me, but he has not blessed me with his presence yet this morning. He's doing that teenager sleeping in thing. So if you don't know me, hi, my name's Helen. I live in Toronto, which I'm sure you've cottoned on to by now. I am a work from home mom. I'm not a homemaker, but I do an awful lot of domestic stuff. You'll know if you've watched my other vlogs, but if you're new, you don't know that. I vlog here on this channel. I make product reviews. Maybe you even found me because you watch my art channel, which is got a lot of energy in it right now. A lot of people are watching my art videos right now, which is kind of fun. So I'm running 2 YouTube channels. When I tell you, I never thought that this would be my life. It's a surprise to me too. But I wanted to make this video because I felt like relaxing. I'm tired. I'm tired of thinking of like clever and creative video ideas. It's nice to just spend some time doing something creative, which is making this video, sharing some relaxation time, and it's like a fun time capsule for myself as well. So I've done as good as I think I can get out of this. And with the cake mix, what I will do is I'll just run my spatula lightly through it. And then my cousin taught me this trick where you just tap it to even it out. If there's any big air pockets, you'll knock them out that way too. And now round 2 of Helen's Bakery. This is going in the oven. Set a timer for 30 minutes. I use my Apple Watch.
30 minutes starting now.
I use my Apple Watch to set all the timers that I do. So actually that's my favorite use probably for this, because I've turned off the like walking step counter and all those kind of notifications. So I just get texts, phone calls, and I love to use this as a kitchen timer. I use it pretty much every day for kitchen timing, making pasta, putting things in the oven, just little things maybe that I need to remember to do. I'm quite forgetful, I think now, without it, because I've become kind of reliant on using it, but it's actually just excellent for that. And because it works on voice too, that makes it even quicker. All right. Tidy up here, put the dishwasher on, and maybe get out of the kitchen and enjoy what's left of the morning. So now I've got the kitchen all nice and clean, just how I like it. I've got the dishwasher on, the washing machine on for a load of laundry. I have taken out lunch with some thought to getting that going later. Have some time yet. Did a quick sweep, and I think I'm finally done in this room until I am beckoned back to deal with the laundry, the dishes, and that other cake that I have in the oven that's going to be done momentarily. Now I'm in my favorite spot, which is in my dining room, which I also call my studio, where I like to do lots of my art stuff. And I'll also sit here and I do some writing as well. Sometimes I write poetry. That makes me sound like a real fancy person. I'm not. But it's just like a meditative experience for me, because I'm not like that big into journaling. But speaking of journaling, I have the best art, craft, whatever you want to call it, for fall that I've just discovered. The other day, over the weekend at my local library, they are hosting like a discarded book collage session, like a workshop where you could learn how to collage, or maybe you already know, but you're welcome to grab pages out of tons of books, magazines, you name it. What I did, and I'll just show you briefly, was I clipped all these things out of a book that was headed for the recycling, and I'll put in some visuals of me actually being there so you can see. I've never done this before. It is so much fun. You don't need like a lot of skill. You don't even need a lot of supplies. You need like a glue stick, just some like paper maybe that you could put to the side. Maybe you have a ripped up magazine, or you find a magazine just when you're walking on the street, people are giving away books that are really beat up looking. You know, one thing the librarian really impressed upon us that I kind of had a hard time internalizing was that these books are going to be recycled. Like, they're going to get thrown out. So you may as well enjoy them, because when their pages are falling out of the spine and they can't be repaired, books have a life cycle and they can come to the end of it, and you don't have to feel bad about grabbing some of the pages, which is what I did. So I grabbed some pages out of the book, Little Women. Then there was an interior decorating book that had all of these beautiful florals. I just had fun like doodling on top of it. And it was just such a relaxing, freeing experience. So like anybody can do this. You can do it with your kids. You can do it on your own. The technical name is junk journaling. Here's the very first page I ever did with some washi tape, but I don't know, you can also call it collage. You don't even need anything special. You don't have to have a sketchbook like this, but this one is a really cute Talons art creation sketchbook. These are very affordable. I think this was $10, and it's nice multimedia paper inside of it. So people, I hope that if you are at all interested, look, I'm prepping for my next one. I just did a little drawing and I'm leaving space there. I hope that if you're even a little bit interested, you give it a try because it is fun. My mom actually helped me clip out. We're having a bit of a outdoor gab session yesterday. She actually helped me clip out some other little bits from pages that I got to keep, because when I left, the librarian said, please take the books, like they're going to the garbage. So I didn't want to carry home a bunch of books, so I tore out some pages. And then I was working on some painting yesterday, and my mom, I just said, hey, why don't you clip these for me? And she did. So they're very cute little additions that I'm going to put in future pages. So that's a whole lot of fun. And yeah, I mean, you can use anything. You can use, say your kids have books that are just destined also for the garbage because they're in bad shape. A lot of them have beautiful illustrations. Look at this. This book was like in shreds. The cover was missing. So the librarian's like, yeah, some of them, especially the kids' books, just get absolutely shredded. So please do take. And I just thought the color scheme is so, up my alley. So I grabbed a couple pages, like so much fun. So again, scissors, a glue stick, papers that you may be saving, great for travel. Because when you travel, maybe you have like boarding passes you want to stick in there, or, even a piece of a napkin from like a nice cafe, you could glue that down. Just like little memories, so you don't have to feel so much pressure. Maybe if your drawing skills are not up to spec. It's just a great way to have fun. Like if I seem very energized by it, it's because I am. I love discovering new art practices and craft practices. So I hope to do lots more of that in coming months. I meant to do just some analog reading of a magazine back at my house, but there's a whole bunch of construction work going on, I guess, at the house across from mine. So I've taken my old magazine here that I got from my collage workshop. That was a giveaway. Cillian Murphy's on the cover. And I brought it here just to spend a little bit of time reading an actual magazine. I'm trying to stay off my phone a bit. No kidding, my fingers are actually a little bit sore from like clutching it. I was doing a lot of texting yesterday, so I'm trying not to pick it up too much. And sorry, I know I'm partly in the sun and partly shaded, but it is so pleasant out here. Yeah, I'm just gonna spend a bit of time reading a few articles, including one about the namesake of my son, Cillian Murphy. You might know him from the Oppenheimer movie, and he was in Peaky Blinders. And when I just saw this name, Cillian, I just thought it was so pretty with the C, even though it's pronounced with a hard C sound, Cillian. True story, when I did pick the name Cillian, I was a little bit worried, because this is a long time ago now. This is almost 2 decades ago when I picked out this name, that the actor Cillian Murphy, like, he wasn't a super well-known quantity, but I was a little worried he might do something silly and then the name Cillian would be like a laughing stock name. But luckily this guy is like got his head on straight, so that has never been a concern. So after my little park sojourn, I did a tiny bit of shopping, just picked up a few things that I needed. I got this kombucha, which I've never tried before. This is a peach flavored one, luminous peach. And I needed to get some cheese also, so I picked these up from the health food store that's near me. And then I got some other not so healthy bits. So Lay's, my son loves these ones. We picked up some of these Halloween-sized chocolates to snack on. I mean, listen, I never saw a bag of chips that I didn't like. I got some washi tape. So this is just from the dollar store. I know, I'm sure it's not the best quality, but listen, I'm in need right now because I want to do a bit of collaging and I don't have anything to work with. I got an Elmer's glue stick. I think this is a Canadian brand. I'm not sure, but hopefully that works well. It says it's acid-free, so hopefully it's okay to use. I'm sure it is. I mean, if it's safe for kids, it should be safe for my sketchbook. some of these, which are from the UK apparently, Walkers, Mint Thins, so they're like after eights, a very large size of Pringles. I didn't say this was a health food grocery shop run. Biscoff cookies, all snacks, guys. Not a healthy thing here except for the cheese and the kombucha. And then some Lifesaver mints. Yeah, it's been one of those kind of weeks where I just, I'm snacky. So when you shop when you're snacky, you buy a lot of snacks. All right, I'm gonna head back inside now. I'm making dinner now, and I've just got a little bit of potato boiling here. I'm not sure if I'm gonna make that into mashed potato or quite what I'm gonna do, but I just wanted to get it going. And then I'm going to saute some broccolette, these are called. They're basically mini broccolis, and I like them. They're a nice alternative to broccoli, which I also love. I'll just use some garlic for that. And then in the oven unseen are some sausages. I feel like the day really got away from me. I was just enjoying being outside so much and spent way more time outdoors this time of year than I normally do. It's already like 5 o'clock. I don't know how that happened. So I like to eat a little bit after 5. That was never our way. We were definitely the family that, I didn't even get home from work until 6 back in the day when my son was young. So you can imagine we definitely were not eating at 6 even, probably closer to 7 most nights. But what happened is during the pandemic, we got bored and we wanted to eat. There wasn't much else to do. We wanted to eat much earlier in the day and we had more time. So that is in fact what we started to do. We started eating, 5:30ish, and we kind of never stopped. Which is embarrassing to admit. It's like we're living the life of grandparents, basically. Like, I think my parents don't even eat that early. It's good though in a way, because there's lots of time to digest your food and then maybe have like another healthy snack at night as well. So actually, that's not the worst. Look how gigantic this garlic is. It's like one of these monster garlics that I'm not going to use the whole thing to saute. This is a really great knife, and I just want to tell you about it because I know that Black Friday sales are coming up, and it might be the only chance you get to buy this. I've mentioned it before. It's the Shun vegetable santoku knife, and I think it's around $200. So this was an investment piece, definitely, but I use it every day, and it cuts through everything, even like sweet potato, so easily. And honestly, I use it more than I use even my washing machine, if you can believe that. So it was worth every penny. But nice to get it on sale if you can, so that's why I'm bringing it up. So Shun Santoku knife, I think this is the shorter one. I think they make a longer one as well, but I could be wrong on that. All right, here we are. We've got just the sausages, which I'm gonna finish off in the pan. I decided to just lightly pan fry these fluffy potatoes, and then I got a really nice char on this broccolette as it's called, so that's gonna be super yummy. And this is how it turned out. Looks good. 7 o'clock, the sun is setting. I'm gonna put a candle on. I've got this beautiful Santal Gray. Smells so good, from the company Lake and Sky. So let's get that going. Nothing like a really nice scented candle. Just when the sun is going down. I've got this other one as well. And I'm gonna get myself a slice of cake, which I've been patiently waiting to eat all day long. Okay, here it is, and it is glorious, glorious, glorious. I don't know if you can see this, but it is riven with deep crevasses of the cinnamon butter, and there's little small pieces of apple in there. I mean, you could have made them bigger if you wish, but I already know from having this a ton of times that the yogurt and the oil together make a very tender crumb. So let's just give it the taste test. It's so good. That cinnamon butter topping gives it like a crunch. So there's like a subtle crunch on the top, and it's in every bite. And that was only 1 tablespoon of butter mixed with the sugar and the cinnamon. It wasn't like one of those heavy streusel toppings where you need kind of like a lot of butter and everything else. Heavenly, so good. Because I made the apple pieces quite small, they're quite well dispersed through the cake. Oh my gosh, so good. I really hope that if you do like apple cake, you give this a try. It's so worth it. All right, well, I'm gonna finish the rest of my slice here. I think it's movie night for us. I wanna watch The Matrix. I've been on such a Keanu Reeves kick. I was never really into him in the 90s, and we watched Speed the other day, and I'm like, oh my gosh, he was so handsome. How did I sleep on that for so many decades? So It got me in the mood to see him now in the Matrix, so that's what we're doing tonight. All right, see you in the morning. Good morning. It is bright and early, and it's chilly in here. We're just on that cusp of needing heat, but instead of putting on the heat, I'm just gonna see if wearing this cozy cardigan is enough. Hopefully it is. Oh, that was better. Okay. Just starting off my morning as I always do. A nice hot cup of coffee. Today's outfit of the day. Okay. Just wearing my thrifted frame jeans, my thrifted silk shirt from the brand Vince, and I think this cardigan is from Old Navy. Old Navy does nice cotton, this isn't cotton, but they do nice cotton cardigans also in this shape that I think is like a staple that they have every year, and they're just like the open cardigans. So if you ever see those, maybe try one on. I have 2 of them. This is my 3rd of this style, and I don't know, they're just like cozy, comfortable, versatile. Oh, and my moccasins. I decided to go with the moccasins. I didn't know this about moccasins, but they're the perfect slipper for inside the house for the winter because they have these soft bottoms. They don't have like a hard sole on the bottom. So when you walk, you kind of just walk very naturally, almost like you're in bare feet. So it's very good for your feet. They're great shoes. Moccasins for the win when you're inside. Plus they're cozy and warm, of course. Deeper here in the kitchen, I've got this milk frother, and it's really good if you like to have a latte or a cappuccino or a macchiato in the morning. You just pour your milk into this compartment here, this bowl, which you can put in the dishwasher, as we've established is the only way I live my life. And then you just press the on button, and then you basically just press the button and it does all the rest for you. It heats it, it froths it perfectly. I'm not a coffee connoisseur, but if you were, obviously, this would be the part where you'd be making an amazing coffee, but that's not me. Embarrassingly, my favorite coffee for at home is just Nescafe Gold, but it has to be the espresso, not the thicker granules. The espresso has a very fine powder, and this is the monster version. Usually you can only get one that size, but whenever they have the jumbo sizes at the supermarket, I always grab it because I know I'll go through it. Now, by contrast, my husband is a French press person, and you know, he does all the steps. I don't like French press coffee. I find it too harsh, too strong, but this is his French press, so he got an insulated one. So I think he just got this from Amazon instead of the glass ones, because we were finding the glass, once again with our propensity to dishwash everything, the glass is a bit fragile, and if it just gets a little knock against it, it's pretty sturdy, but it's a thin glass. But he had broken enough of those over, you know, a 5-year period to just think about switching instead to like this type, which has the bonus of also being insulated, and it's full stainless steel as well, which is good. I'm not that much of a coffee aficionado to really care. I just care that it's hot, and I do like a bit of warmed up, steamed, frothed milk, and away we go for the morning. 1 of 3 coffees that I'm gonna drink, seriously. I guess that's the downside of this coffee just not being very strong in general. I don't feel like I'm fully caffeinated till I'm not my 3rd coffee of the day. That's why you always see me holding a coffee cup in the mornings, especially because I'm going through 3 of them, but they're not the hugest size cups. I also think maybe I use it because I don't love to sit down for breakfast. I've never been a big breakfast person. Like I'll have a slice of toast or half of an English muffin. And I think sometimes I just would prefer to drink. Like that's the thing that I like to do in the morning, have something nice and hot to drink. And then sometimes I'll switch to tea as well. You know, after my 1st or 2nd coffee, the 3rd thing will be a tea, but definitely 3 hot drinks every morning, non-negotiable. One thing I am prepping this morning that I wanted to show you guys just in case it's of interest to anybody, especially for those of you out there who may be trying to eat a little less meat this week, or just in general, or you're a vegan, vegetarian, whatever the case may be, you want to incorporate tofu in your diet because it is good for you, is this recipe it's like a viral recipe that I saw online, and I tried it a couple times myself, and it's actually pretty good. And it's like a tofu dish, and it's just basically a way of marinating tofu. So what I've started with here is extra firm tofu. In Canada, I use the Sunrise brand always. I've tried some other extra firm ones. I find this one to be most consistently good. Just drain off the extra water. You can put this between 2 plates to flatten it and get out the rest of the water, but it's not it doesn't make that big of a difference, but you certainly can. What I'll do is I'll just get like one paper towel and I'll just grab whatever's the extra liquid out of it. I don't go too fussy about it. So I'll just press this in here because here's the thing, I'm gonna be dousing it in liquid for the marinade anyway. But in theory, if you take out some of this liquid, then if you displace this liquid, it'll be thirsty for the other liquid that you put in, but that's just in theory. So I'll just wrap it as you see here in paper towel, and then I'll just press it till this paper towel is pretty wet. And for me, that's good enough with this particular brand. And that's why I like this brand. So you don't want to cut this into cubes. You don't want to use a knife at all. What you're going to be doing is you're going to break it into pieces that are about this big. Do you see? And so you're just going to keep going in there, and sometimes you break it off weirdly and you'll get little bitsies. Just try not to do that, like chunks like this, because eventually what you're doing with this is normally I would go faster, but I'm trying to be a bit careful so I can show it well to you. So in the end, eventually you're taking it out of the marinade and you're pan frying it and getting it brown on each side. And it's gonna, because you have this sort of rough texture, it's gonna more closely emulate the mouthfeel, I guess, of eating meat, although it kind of isn't. So instead of having this smooth cube shape, you've got these like rough pieces that get quite brown in some spots. It's just, I think, kind of nice. Yeah, so you just keep going and you keep pulling off chunks. This chunk is too big. No chunk should be bigger than, a little fork-sized piece. Get a focus, okay. Okay, there. So once you've marinated it, you could do it as much as overnight. You could probably do it 2 days and just leave it in the fridge. It's just tofu at the end of the day. Plus you'll see what you're putting on top of it. Well, you see the soy sauce here, so that's already a hint. Just don't make them too small. So you marinate it for quite a while because you really want that flavor to soak in. I mean, you could use a plastic bag. A lot of people marinate in like a throwaway disposable Ziploc bag. I just try not to use them. One, because I just don't want the plastic contacting my food if I don't have to. Two, I just don't like throwing away Ziploc bags. I think it's, not the best, but you do you. I certainly don't judge. Whenever I make chicken, I will do it very often. In fact, I am making chicken tonight, and I will be for my son and my husband don't really love this dish, but I do. And I'll be putting their chicken in a disposable bag, but where I can, I avoid it. Okay, so that one block of tofu made quite a nice tray here of not delicious looking tofu. I'm not gonna lie, it never looks that good when it's like this. It looks like rocks, tofu rocks. So what you do is you get your soy sauce, and I don't measure. I don't know how much I'm putting in. I am just doing a nice drizzle. You'll see, I'm just doing a good drizzle. This is the regular sodium Kikkoman soy sauce. I prefer the one with the green cap that's low sodium, but I can't always find it. Just depends on what grocery store I'm at, so I can't always find it. Then you need balsamic vinegar. So that was, as you saw, a good heavy drizzle of soy sauce. And you're not adding any more seasoning or salt or anything, so you don't have to worry too much about how salty it is, unless you're watching your salt. And then a big, good, same amount of drizzle of balsamic vinegar. And it turns it brown, which okay, but it ends up looking quite meaty when you pan fry it. So then when this is all said and done, you'll want to turn it over, right halfway through the marinating process, just to make sure that all sides are coated. And then you pan fry it. Just oil, pan, heat up the pan, medium high, let them crisp up, check them when they're brown on one side, much like you do meat. Then you turn them over to the other and they brown really well because of the sugars of the balsamic vinegar. It does brown up really nicely. Okay, if this were the halfway point of marinating, I just would want to show you how I would just, you would just turn it all over and make sure that everything is well marinated, that there's marinade on all sides. But already this is pretty good. I'm at my desk now just briefly to get through some emails, and we will resume our cozy fall vlog. I just reviewed some of the footage. I am so sorry. I didn't realize I had this contour streak here the whole time. I've been trying out a new one and I put some here and then I forgot to take it off or blend it out. Or maybe I didn't forget, but it will not budge. So I'm gonna not tell you what it is just in case I don't like it, because I think maybe I don't. I don't. I don't know why it's still there. I've been trying to remove it. Okay, the real reason though, not to just apologize for my weird contour streak, that doesn't seem to be removable. Just a little PSA. So there's starting to be this little rustle in the content creator universe, let's just call it that, about Black Friday sales. And I'm sorry, I'm going to keep this brief. I just wanted to tell you, if there are products that you like that are expensive and you're intending maybe to purchase them on Black Friday, now's the time to start researching them, start watching your different YouTube videos, start taking notes. When I take notes on like expensive things I want to buy, I'll just put like the regular price that I'm seeing. Like for instance, a good example might be a camera, maybe like an expensive winter parka that is like an investment piece, you know, not a designer investment piece or anything. Good quality parkas are quite expensive and we have a very harsh climate, so they are worth investing in. You can have it for a decade or more, but I don't want to buy them at full price. So if I write down what it is and I do the research now, I still have time to go try it on in store so that I'm not making like a last minute guess at my size. Now's the time to do it. Now's the time to start putting in that research so that when the time comes, you'll know if it's a worthwhile deal or not. And I certainly don't encourage you to go in store for Black Friday shopping. I think that's madness, but I think often there's like maybe one or two expensive items you might have been holding off on buying. And typically, and I know this from years of seeing deals, that is the best time. Like the sales are the best at Black Friday. They're pretty good around Christmas time too, but then you start having sometimes an issue with stock availability because it's you versus everybody else looking for Christmas gifts. So yeah, I don't encourage overconsumption. You guys know that, but I do, and I do like saving money. You also know that. So where those two things come together is me telling you to start researching expensive big ticket items now, to go look at them in person when it's nice and chill, and just get your head around like costs of things and zero in on what it is you want to buy. Anyway, that's my PSA. Just finish up on a few emails and get on with the rest of the day. I'm really looking forward to doing some collage because I bought the products for it yesterday, the glue stick and the washi tape, and I haven't used them yet. So hopefully we get to crack those open together. Finally, I've had a chance to sit down with my new supplies that I've been wanting to crack open, washi tape. I've never purchased washi tape before. I don't know why I haven't. I love washi tape. I don't know why I haven't purchased it so far, but I guess there's a first time for everything. I don't know if there's gonna be an easy way to open this. Okay, let's open the glue stick first because that looks a little simpler. Elmer's glue reminds me of being a kid in school. I got this chunky glue stick. It might have actually been better if I got one of the smaller ones, but that's fine. So I think that this was maybe $2.50. Got it at our Dollarama, which is our version of like Dollar Tree, Dollar General. I don't know what all the names are. And this is Calvin brand, which I'm sure is not great quality, but maybe it's okay. Who knows? Everything's made in China. So yeah, and of course it's one of those completely impenetrable. Do you ever feel sometimes exhausted after ripping through packaging? I like all of these colors. I like all of these, but I don't like the green that much. Isn't that interesting? The green is the one that does not appeal to me, but that's fine. What I like to do is like give away art supplies that I'm not loving. So I'll bring it back to my librarian friend because she may be able to use them because I know she's an avid scrapbooker collage artist. So I'm just using some of the things my mom helped me cut out, using the page that I kind of prepped ahead of time, have just been kind of laying these out and trying to get an idea of what it is I might want to place and how. This is so much fun. I love having something new and creative to do, trying to get you a better view here. This is a page from the book Little Women. Now, did you know about Little Women that apparently Louisa May Alcott never loved having to write these? And I say having to is because they became kind of a runaway success. And I think she had serialized them. That's how a lot of these things used to come out. I think. I could be getting it wrong. I could be getting this wrong, but I know that she actually had kind of a troubled life. She was not living like this ideal, maybe romanticized writer life that perhaps we're envisioning, but she did it as a means to support herself. And just because it was, I think, fairly wildly successful, and she had to keep going. I think she wrote a sequel. You know, she did write a sequel. Maybe she didn't want to. I don't think it was like a labor of love necessarily. It was just the thing that had to be done for her to support herself, which is super interesting. Okay. So Taylor at my local library says that the way that she uses glue stick is to really cover the back, really cover the back. She says that in a thin layer, she says that will make it stick. And then the reason you use glue stick and not wet glue is because it wrinkles too much. So glue stick is apparently the choice. And it took me this long to figure out why people, I figured this out in the workshop, why people use tweezers, because I always thought that was I thought they were being very precious about it, like the way you see chefs put like one tiny little flower down on a dish. It's not really that. It's that it's sticky and you'll have to touch it. And if you don't like the way glue feels, as I don't, if you have a nice pair of tweezers, it will help you place it a bit easier. And not just that, then you won't have to touch the sticky glue and have it all over your fingers. I don't know. I think I have some sensory issues around certain sticky feelings. Okay, so I've glued that. That is the Pickwick portfolio. It looks really nice. And I may draw on top of that. I don't know what I'll do. So that is one side down. Oh, I didn't place it that well, but that's okay. And I could see I'd need a bit more glue there. Fun. And then I've got these pretty little bits that came out of a decorating book. I feel like this pulls in the theme of the flower that I drew quite well. So I'm gonna figure out how to place this, maybe here. I don't know, it's just fun just like placing these. It's so freeing because I'm used to the much more, I don't know what the word is I'm looking for, strict process of drawing and then coloring in. This is much more freeing. All right, I think I'll use some washi tape to put this down. I've got purples and I've got pinks. Now I'll glue and then I'll washi tape as well. Oh my gosh, I'm having so much fun. I love that there's such a low barrier to like entry. If my kid were amenable, which he's not, being almost 17, I would be doing this with him. Oh, I miss the crafting days. That's what this really reminds me of. Like glue sticks really remind me of when we used to make things together, because that's something we used to do a bit of when he was young. Enjoy it while you can, people. If you've got little ones still, I can totally see myself volunteering to work with little kids doing crafts because I think it's just a lot of fun. And I don't know, it's such a comfort zone for me. That could be fun, but not right now. Not right now. It's not the right time. But yeah, if I were retired, oh my gosh, I would work crafts with kiddos in a heartbeat. I would so be into that. Okay, so that was a fairly poor job doing the taping, but that's okay. Let's work some washi tape onto this. Why is there so much washi tape for only $3? Probably because there's not a lot on each roll. Let's do a fun little thing here with this, where we pin it down. Oh my gosh, I'm really liking this. If I sound giddy and silly, that's because I feel giddy and silly doing this. I've never been into scrapbooking though. I always thought it was kind of not for me, kind of just not. But now I completely see the appeal. That's super fun, but I will tell you, I think this washi tape is okay. It's probably good for kids' crafts, but I'm pretty sure it's like not the best quality because I'm seeing it's not as sticky as it might be, which I guess is supposed to be the point. I don't know. So I'm just gonna do some flowery doodles on top of here, I think, using my Sailor fountain pen. Fountain pens have really changed the game. I thought I didn't like them until I started trying them again, and they're much fun to play with, I gotta say. Especially these ones, they're not expensive. So if you're looking to try fountain pens again, there are a lot of inexpensive options. I don't know why I thought it was like, oh, you want a fountain pen? Okay, that's $50. No, there are a lot of like great Japanese brands where it doesn't cost a lot at all to try them out. There's Safari Lamy pens, Lamy, and those are not expensive either. There's like much out there if that's something you want to explore. It's really great if you do journal and you don't love your handwriting or you want to slow down or do something kind of meditative. And it's just like a pen, it's an office pen, right? So we're talking about a small investment that could yield a lot of fun, maybe a new hobby for you. I'm just doodling some leaves, flowers, sort of my favorite thing to doodle a bit. I like the look of the ink and the washi tape all together. There's my page. Pages. I might add a little bit to it, or I might not. We'll see. Now this page is lacking color. I am going to add something to it. Maybe just a tiny bit of watercolor on the top, and we'll see how it takes. Just going to dash some color on there because, you know what, this ink underneath is not waterproof. I can hear the leaf blowers going outside. Oh, that's the downside of fall, my friends. Constant sound of leaf blowers. They should, I don't know. Okay, I'm not going to say anything because I know landscaping is not an easy job. I know that they use them for a reason, but my goodness, are they annoying to have to listen to. There we are. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. But I'm not going to stop there, of course. I'm going to add some color down in here. Just having a bit of fun. That was like a fun 5-minute craft. I love that. Okay, I am done now. I'm going to let it dry. Okay, here we are in the kitchen. I'm ready to pan fry my tofu. Tofu is gonna be in a red coconut curry, which is super easy to make as well. And I'm getting my pan and my pot nice and hot. Not scorching hot, but definitely hot. And don't be like me, be patient, do it properly. The first thing I'm gonna do, I think, while that's just getting going, is, you know, that huge garlic that I had yesterday? I'm going to have to work quickly here, but I'm going to press it into this oil. Let me lower that a bit. And that's gonna sizzle, and I don't want it to burn, but I do want it to cook off a bit. And then I'm putting in half of this red curry paste, half of this jar. I know that the tin is like the more authentic and better one, but this is what I had available to me at the time. And this is the famous Thai Kitchen brand that I think we've all seen at the supermarkets. So quickly gonna move here, get this garlic in, and I might even move it off. Oh no, that's good, okay. I didn't overdo the heat, which I was worried that I was gonna do. Perfect, so when that garlic is just a little cooked off, then I'll just put this in here, the rest of this red curry paste. Then I'm just gonna swish this around and cook off the paste a little bit. Let me give you a little view here, right? So I'm just gonna cook that a bit. And then, yeah, just wanted to show you that's the pan I'm putting the tofu into. And with that on the go, just give it one more quick stir. Let me just turn that off for a minute. Normally I can do this all at the same time, but I'm wanting to pay attention. It's very hard to make videos and cook at the exact same time. So you wanna drop these in. So with the tofu now in the pan, you can just discard this if you don't want to use it. I'm gonna just add it to here because I don't mind that little bit of extra soy sauce and balsamic in my curry, which is not authentic at all, but that's okay. Letting that brown, and now I'm just gonna go in on top of this curry paste with 1 can of just regular coconut milk, not low fat, regular fat. And that, my friends, is also where the small spatula comes in to get every last bit out. Give this a good stir. Make sure you incorporate that red curry paste well with the coconut milk. Let it come to a nice bubble. Okay, I turned over one and I can see that that's looking good. So I'm just gonna flip all of these so that they cook and brown up on the other side. And that's nearly done. I mean, after you flip them, you just cook them on this side. Okay, I need to put the camera down. I'm trying to work with one hand, as I often am doing, and really get these all flipped over. It looks a bit burned. That's flavor. It's gonna taste good. That's the sugars from the balsamic vinegar and the soy sauce contributing to this meaty brown looking flavor. But it does look like nicely seared chicken. Well, it just looks nicely seared. I don't know how else to say it. That's looking good. This is starting to have little bubbles, so that's gonna be bubbling away, and I'm gonna just stir that up a bit more. I've got some rice steaming, and I've got yesterday's broccolette. I don't even know how to call it. So I'm just gonna warm this up in the microwave. That's gonna be my green to go with it. And these are looking actually pretty ready to put in here. So that's just what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna drop them in to the curry. This is nice and bubbly and hot. And now I will be putting this in instead of putting chicken or anything like that. So now everything is in here. I'm just gonna let this continue bubbling, continue cooking, maybe with the lid just a little askew, so a little bit of the steam comes out and it doesn't get too hot in there. Just waiting for my rice to finish steaming. So one little tip I have is to use ceramic spoons to taste your food. Tastes perfect. It doesn't need anything. They're neutral tasting because if you eat off a wooden spoon, I don't know about you, but I don't like the flavor of the wood. It intercepts my sense of the food. And if I eat off a metal spoon, likewise, I taste the metal as well. That is perfect though. So when you use ceramic spoons, which are associated with Asian culture, and you can buy them, they're like $1 probably each. If you taste with these, well, it's just the best, I find. Even if it's not Asian food, even if it's like a tomato sauce for pasta, you just get so much of a clearer sense of what it actually tastes like. Perfect. All right, lunch is served. I've got my little wedge of lime to just drizzle on the top. This looks so good and it smells heavenly. There it is. That's how the tofu turns out. Round. So good. It's quick, easy, nourishing. It's a rabbit. Hello. into my more athleisure wear stuff for the day, and I'm out for a nice nature walk. And it's that interesting period where it's like the summer blooms are fading. It's not quite like full autumn leaves yet. You might recognize, or maybe not, this little enclave because I do make videos here sometimes, like walking around. As you can see around me, it's quite green in this little enclave, so that's interesting, but we're just gonna do a little nature walk. Thank you so much for watching this video. I appreciate you so much. Please do drop me a comment, even if it's just an emoji to say hello. Like, consider subscribing if you're new here. Hopefully you enjoyed this cozy fall vlog, and I'm gonna carry on and enjoy a nice walk as a way of capping this off. We'll see you in the next video.